This is what the NFL looked like a century ago. And here's what it looks like now. It all kicked off in 1892, when Walter Camp, the dude they call the father of American football, decided to mash up rugby and football into something new. But little did he know that he was about to create a national obsession. Let's hit the rewind button to 1920. During this time, the American Professional Football Association was kicking off, not in some grand stadium, but in a car dealership in Canton, Ohio. It's like starting a rock band in your garage, except these guys were about to rock the whole world. You had legends like Jim Thorpe and George Halas showing up, laying the groundwork for what would become the NFL. It's like a scene from an old movie, where everyone knows they're on to something big. Back then, the NFL was more like a wild free-for-all club. Teams popped up and vanished like they were playing a game of hide-and-seek. Imagine teams with names like the Decatur Staleys, who'd eventually get a glow-up and turn into the Chicago Bears. It was a different vibe, rough around the edges, but full of heart. And the players? These guys were the definition of hustle. They were on the field dodging tackles on Sundays and then back to their day jobs on Mondays. Think catching passes one day and selling insurance the next. It sounds crazy, but that's how it rolled. The game was raw, gritty, and driven by pure love for the sport. This was the time when the NFL's roots dug deep into the soil, setting the stage for it to grow into a key part of American culture and a symbol of athletic greatness worldwide. Fast forward to the 1930s, America's in the grip of the Great Depression, but the NFL is surviving and evolving. It's the era when the forward pass started changing the game, from a rugby-style scrum to the strategic chess match we know today. The league was becoming more organized, but it was still rough around the edges. Players like Bronco Nagurski were legends, big, tough guys who played both sides of the ball. Can you imagine today's quarterbacks tackling on defense? Well, I sure can't. Rewind to 1936, a landmark year for the NFL with a game changer, the introduction of the draft. Before this, it was a free-for-all, where players could just team up with whoever they wanted. This new draft system, it was like flipping a switch. Suddenly, every team had a fair shot at snagging the best new talents straight out of college. Picture the scene. Young, hopeful stars waiting on the edge of their seats, their futures hinging on a single announcement. The excitement was through the roof. Teams strategizing their picks, fans daydreaming about their team's next big star. This was more than just a selection process. It was the birth of a whole new era of anticipation and strategy in the league. And who was the first ever draft pick? Jay Berwanger. Now here's a twist in the tale. He never even played a single game in the NFL, but that didn't matter. His selection by the Philadelphia Eagles kicked off what would become a cornerstone tradition in the league. The draft wasn't just about picking players. It was about hope, strategy, and the thrill of building a team. It became a pivotal moment each year where fortunes could turn and new legends began their journey. The year 1940 wasn't just another year in the NFL. It was the dawn of a new era. The Chicago Bears, under the genius of Coach George Halas, were about to flip the script on traditional football strategy in the most dramatic way possible. They were facing the Washington Redskins in the NFL championship, but what unfolded was more than just a game. It was a spectacle that would redefine the sport. The Bears, armed with the revolutionary T formation, took to the field not just to play, but to dominate. This formation, with its emphasis on motion and deception, was a stark contrast to the static, brute force style prevalent at the time. The Redskins, champions of the previous season, were caught off guard. They were unprepared for the whirlwind that was about to hit them. As the game progressed, it became clear that this was not a typical championship match. The Bears' offense, orchestrated by Halas and executed flawlessly by players like Sid Luckman, was like a well-oiled machine, dismantling the Redskins' defense play after play. The Bears' innovative use of man in motion and intricate play calling baffled the Redskins, who found themselves unable to adapt to this dynamic style of play. The result? An unprecedented 73-0 victory for the Bears. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The lopsided scoreline remains the most significant margin of victory in NFL history. But more than that, it was a demonstration of how innovative tactics could transform the game. This historic victory catapulted the T formation into the limelight, prompting teams across the league to rethink their strategies. The NFL, known for its physicality, started to change, turning into a chess match of wits and strategy. Fast forward to 1958, we have the so-called the greatest game ever played. This is the NFL championship that changed everything. The Baltimore Colts versus the New York Giants at Yankee Stadium, a showdown that captivated the nation. This game had it all. The underdog Colts, led by Johnny Unitas, an up-and-coming quarterback with nerves of steel, against the powerhouse Giants. As the game unfolded, it became a nail-biter. Tied at the end of regulation, it went into the first ever sudden death overtime in NFL history. The tension was electric. Unitas, cool and calculated, led the Colts downfield in overtime, setting up the winning touchdown by Alan Amich. The stadium erupted. This was more than a win. It was a spectacle that gripped viewers across the country. This game wasn't just the championship victory for the Colts, it was a turning point for the NFL. It showcased the drama and excitement of pro football, transforming it from a sport into a national phenomenon. The 1958 championship put the NFL on the map and set the stage, propelling the NFL into a new era of popularity. Fast forwarding to 1960, the American Football League was born. The AFL wasn't just another league, it was a challenger to the NFL, bringing fresh ideas and new energy. This league introduced official time on the scoreboard and names on the back of jerseys. Innovations that seem standard now but were groundbreaking then. The AFL added a dynamic flair to the game, attracting new fans and, spoiler alert, setting the stage for one of the most significant mergers in sports history. In 1967, the NFL experienced a defining moment, the very first Super Bowl. This inaugural clash wasn't just a game, it was a pivotal event in sports history. The Green Bay Packers, NFL champions, faced off against the AFL's Kansas City Chiefs in a battle more significant than any other. This game was about proving which league was superior, with the NFL's reputation on the line. Held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, the game initially didn't sell out, a fact hard to imagine today. Vince Lombardi, the Packers' legendary coach, understood the game's significance. He knew a loss would not just be a personal failure, but a blow to the NFL's prestige. Lombardi's Packers were tactical and disciplined, embodying the NFL's more strategic and methodical approach. The Chiefs, led by Hank Stram, brought an underdog spirit and an innovative style of play, reflecting of the AFL's more open and offensive-minded approach. Early in the game, they kept pace, challenging the Packers and hinting at the potential for an upset. However, the second half saw the Packers' experience and depth take over, ultimately overpowering the Chiefs with a final score of 35-10. This game, broadcast nationally, was a watershed moment for football. It marked the beginning of the Super Bowl as an annual spectacle and was crucial in eventually bringing about the NFL-AFL merger. It showed that the NFL could not only embrace change but also lead in new directions, setting the stage for the Super Bowl to evolve into a cultural phenomenon. Roll back to 1970, it's like the NFL and AFL finally swiped right on each other. After years of playing hard to get, these two leagues decided it was time to stop flirting and start dating seriously. The result? They tied the knot, giving us the powerhouse NFL we know today. This wasn't just any merger, it was like the coolest crossover episode in sports history. In this era, where disco balls and bell-bottoms were the rage, the NFL became the ultimate dance floor for football legends. Characters like the Steelers' Terry Bradshaw didn't just throw footballs, he was slinging magic in the air, rewriting the playbook on what it meant to be a quarterback. And Mean Joe Green? He was the kind of guy who made offensive linemen lose sleep the night before the game. Together, they turned the NFL from just a sports league into a weekly blockbuster, with heroes and dramas that had fans glued to their TVs every Sunday. Fast forward to the 1980s and the NFL is like that epic high school party everyone still talks about. Enter Joe Montana and Jerry Rice, the dynamic duo turning the 49ers into something straight out of a comic book. Montana with his golden arm and Rice with his hands stickier than superglue were like the Batman and Robin of football. Together, they didn't just win, they turned games into legendary sagas. And the '85 Bears. Imagine a defense so tough, so fierce, they'd make a tank think twice about entering their turf. Led by the likes of Mike Singletary, whose glare could freeze an offense in its tracks. This team was more than just a brick wall. They were the Great Wall of Chicago. They didn't just play defense. They were like a band of warriors turning football fields into battlegrounds. The 80s weren't just about the rise of legends. They were about football transforming into a realm of superheroes and epic showdowns. It was the era where teams became dynasties, players became icons, and every Sunday felt like the climax of an action-packed blockbuster. Going to the 1990s, the NFL was like a blockbuster action movie every Sunday. This was the era when neon was in, and the stars of the NFL shone brighter than ever. Brett Favre, the gunslinger from Green Bay, was tossing touchdowns like a cowboy in a high noon duel. And Barry Sanders, watching him dodge tackles was like seeing Neon dodging bullets in The Matrix. It wasn't just playing football, it was performance art. Then you had the Dallas Cowboys, featuring the triplets, Aikman, Smith, and Irvin. These guys turned football fields into their own personal stage, each game a new episode in their saga of domination. They were more than a team. They were like a rock band on a world tour, and every stadium was their sold-out show. But wait, there's a plot twist in 1994. The NFL introduces the salary cap. And suddenly, it's not just about the flash and dazzle. This was a game changer. Like introducing a new rule in chess, the salary cap was the great equalizer, tying team spending to league revenue, ensuring that David could still take on Goliath. It transformed the league, making smart drafting and player development as important as having deep pockets. This wasn't just a change, it was a revolution in team management, making the NFL's competitive landscape as unpredictable and thrilling as a season finale cliffhanger. The early 2000s witnessed the rise of a dynasty that would leave an indelible mark on the NFL. The New England Patriots, led by the formidable duo of Coach Bill Belichick and quarterback Tom Brady. What started in 2001 was an unexpected Super Bowl win, soon turned into a masterclass of football excellence that spanned over 2 decades. Belichick's coaching philosophy, characterized by its adaptability and strategic depth, became a blueprint for success. He had a unique ability to adjust his game plans to exploit opponents' weaknesses and adapt to any situation. This approach was evident in their first Super Bowl win against the St. Louis Rams in 2001. The Rams, known as the greatest show on turf for their explosive offense, were heavily favored. However, Belichick's defensive strategy slowed them down, and Brady, then a young quarterback, showed poise beyond his years in a game-winning drive. Brady's evolution from a 6th-round draft pick to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is a story of resilience and relentless pursuit of perfection. His synergy with Belichick created an era of unmatched consistency and success. The Patriots' ability to continuously reinvent themselves around core principles was uncanny. They won 6 Super Bowls in a league designed for parity, a testament to their sustained excellence. The Patriots' dominance also reflected the evolving nature of the NFL, where strategic coaching and quarterback play became more pivotal than ever. Their approach to team building, focusing on versatility and depth rather than just star power, set new standards in the league. The Patriots were not just a team that won championships, they influenced how other teams approached the game, from drafting and player development to in-game strategy. This era was not without controversy, with incidents like Spygate and Deflategate raising questions and adding to the team's mystique. Despite these challenges, the Patriots dynasty stood as a monument to meticulous preparation, adaptability, and the relentless pursuit of victory. It wasn't merely about the hardware they accumulated. It was about how they fundamentally changed the landscape of the NFL. Stepping into the 2010s and cruising into the 2020s, the NFL hit a whole new level. This period was like the ultimate sports drama series, packed with twists and unforgettable moments. It was a time of fresh faces and legends leaving their lasting mark, reshaping the game as we know it. The 2010s kicked off with the Seattle Seahawks' Legion of Boom turning defense into an art form. Remember Super Bowl 48? The Seahawks didn't just beat the Denver Broncos. They made one of the most potent offenses look like they were stuck in slow motion. And who can forget the New England Patriots pulling off the most jaw-dropping comeback in Super Bowl history in 2017, flipping a 28-3 deficit into an overtime win against the Atlanta Falcons. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. But the 2010s were just the appetizer as we rolled into the 2020s. Patrick Mahomes emerged as the new face of quarterback wizardry, slinging passes for the Kansas City Chiefs that seemed to defy physics. And Tom Brady, the ageless wonder, just kept rewriting the record books, snagging another Super Bowl win with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2021. It's like he's found the fountain of youth and made it his personal hydration strategy. The 2020s also brought challenges and changes reshaping the league. The COVID-19 pandemic threw a curveball, turning stadiums into ghost towns for a while. But the NFL adapted, keeping the spirit of the game alive even in the toughest of times. The NFL showed it's not just about the past glories, but also about the now and the new. It's a league where legends are born, history is made, and every game is a chance to see something that's never been done before. Before we talk about the future of the NFL, I just want to say that 99.9% of my viewers aren't subscribed. Like, this is just sad, to be honest. Please, could you guys show your boy some love? Hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Now let's get back to the video. Alright, let's take a step back and see the big picture. In over 100 years, the NFL's gone from a small-time meetup in Ohio to a giant in the world of sports. It's been a wild ride filled with underdog stories that surprise us and legends that have left their mark. The NFL is more than just a bunch of guys tossing a football. It became a huge part of American culture, and now it's a global thing. Think about it. This journey of the NFL is like watching a small local band make it big on the world stage. It's about players who started off like anyone else but ended up as heroes on the field, changing the game and making history. These guys turned football into a story that everyone, from your next-door neighbor to someone halfway across the world, gets hooked on. And now, the NFL isn't just for folks in the States. It has fans all over the globe, all hyped up for every game, every big play. The NFL story isn't just about sports, it's about people coming together, sharing high fives and heartbreaks. It's about a game that started simple but now means so much to so many. Looking back at all this, the NFL's still on its journey, still writing its story. There's more to come with new heroes on the horizon and more awesome moments waiting to happen. The NFL's story shows how a great idea can really take off. If you like this video, I bet you'll love this one too. Go watch the 25 most absurd fouls in NFL history.